And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we went for a nice. We talked to the nurse and we went for a jaunt down to the convenience store with Lily, and we met up with Akira, who has shown us a cute little photo of Lily and Shizune working hard together, with a strange girl that looks vaguely familiar, which I wholeheartedly believe is Misha. I'll be hard-pressed if that isn't Misha. An old photo of what looks like a younger Lily and Shizune operating a noodle stall, with some other girl in the background. She looks vaguely familiar, but I can't quite pinpoint why. What is it, Akira?
I think you know.
Lily mulls this over for a few moments before realization dawns on her.
Akira, you really needn't. It's fine, isn't it? Besides, it's like the only photo I have of you two since you entered Yamaku, when you're not at each other's throats.
I look back down to the photo in my hand. It does seem strange to see Lily and Shizune working together so diligently without any signs of animosity. If the photos of them during the Maku Festival, that means it must have been taken 1 or 2 years ago. In other words, the time when they were both in the student council together. Who's this? Who's the girl in the back? She looks kind of familiar.
Ha! I knew you wouldn't recognize her. It's Misha before she went and dyed her hair pink.
Yeah! God, fucking Shizune. She's like attached like a fucking amoeba. I don't think amoebas. Do amoebas attach to things? I think they do. I think the better thing would be barnacle. She's like a barnacle to her. Almost probably in a weird sense too. Cause like how close she is to Shizune. And we've sort of seen it every once in a while when talking to Misha, when Shizune is concentrating more on speaking to you through her than her actually communicating with Misha. She gets very jealous of that fact. Or at least there's a hint of jealousy there. So this sort of affirms that Misha may be in Shizune's path an antagonist. Because if we learn sign language in her path, then it's just sort of like, well, what's the point, right? What's the point of Misha? So that's an interesting note. I know I'm talking about a completely different path right here, but the reasons on why she dyes her hair pink, the reason why she acts the way she does, it makes me sort of feel that she's very dependent upon Shizune, or she feels that Shizune is dependent upon her. And to have her stick out is sort of very important to her. I don't know. Maybe it's because, I don't know. It's such a weird thing without like treading weird lines of like trying to predict things like off the cuff and off the handle. So we'll go with what we have here.
That's Misha? No way.
It feels extremely strange seeing Misha without her very distinctive hairstyle. Judging from Akira's tone, she doesn't take favorably to Misha's idea of fashion. I suppose that fact just accentuates how odd the situation looks. To think that they were so friendly in the past. I wish I could do something to mend their relationship. Now, this is a thing, I know I'm speculating again, but what if Misha is the reason why they're not friends anymore? Because Akira sort of points out the whole pink hair thing, and Hisao said that she doesn't seem to favor her very well. So maybe Misha has something to do with that. Ooh, man, I kind of want to do Shizune's path to see if that's a thing. Oh man, it's such interesting. I love stories that are like this, where they're more interwoven than you realize. The only thing that's interesting is that Emi and Rin have just like fallen off. Like these families are connected, right? Because they're cousins. But it's interesting that the other two the two other girls in this dating sim, or not even dating sim, it's this visual novel, have just completely dropped off. They must have their own connections somewhere else that are like linked to each other rather than something else. But anyway, you're being very quiet, Hisao. It just feels kind of strange to see you all so friendly like this. Lily moves to say something, but stops herself. In the end, this isn't a matter for me. It's between Shizune and Lily, and nobody else. Things change, unfortunately. I hand the photo back to Akira, who sighs as she folds it up and slides it back into her wallet. A little memory, quietly hidden away, to be pulled out again some time later. Yeah, that they do. Initially, I think Akira's reaction to be simply in response to the situation between Lily and Shizune, but she looks oddly glum compared to what I'd expect. Lily's expression was clouded as well. What's wrong? It's just that I'll be going back to Scotland very soon. You're leaving for Scotland again? For a long moment, Akira looks surprised. It's an ill-fitting expression for her. After a glance at Lily, she turns back to me, as if she's never done so before. Yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be leaving for Inverness to work at the company's headquarters. It's a pretty big jump in corporate position, and it's not a chance that's going to come again. So Akira's going to leave Japan on what seems to be a permanent basis. I can't help feeling that my assumption that we could all happily while away our days, having fun in this isolated little world, is coming to an end. It's unsettling. Lily has been hiding something from us, I think. I look at Lily, mildly surprised that she hasn't told me such a thing despite usually being so forthcoming. She continues to walk with her face fixatedly pointed ahead. I can't read her expression, nor can I even guess what's on her mind, which is discomforting given how it's unusually easy for me to do both. It reminds me of the time when we met at the Shanghai, just before what could be called our first date. At the time, all I could do was comfort her without knowing the cause, and now feels no different. As we finally reach the school's dormitory once again, there's a somewhat awkward silence. I don't think I'm the only one who feels it. See you tomorrow then, Lily. Bye, Akira. Good night, Hisao. See ya. And with that, they walk to the female's dormitory. Opening the door to the male dormitory, I stop and look back at them, just moments before their figures disappear behind the heavy wooden door. That was a strange moment when Akira said she was leaving. While that wasn't the first time when my thoughts regarding my new life have been called into question, it's perhaps the first time to do it quite so profoundly. I still don't know what to make of Akira's reaction, much less of Lily's. The night's chill reminds me to get back to my room before I catch something. My bag pulling down on my arms with seemingly redoubled weight. If nothing else, I have a date with her set up for the weekend. I just need to stop overthinking stuff and get on with things as they are. Okay. I have a feeling that Lily was supposed to tell us something, and she's been hiding the fact that she's probably going back too. The way that Akira reacted to that, it's pretty easy to put two and two together that both of them are supposed to be going back. But Lily's been hiding that from us. Now, there are good reasons for that, and there are bad reasons for that. The good reason being that she doesn't want to rock the boat. Maybe it wasn't completely official or anything like that. And she just wanted us to feel like nothing's changed. But, I think a lot more is changing than we realize. The exams are still ongoing. After all, and with The trimesters end and the summer holidays beginning soon. There'll be plenty to keep me busy for a while. As I give a yawn and retreat inside, my thoughts turn to what Lily will decide to set as a location of our weekend's rendezvous. This is where things are going to start being not daijoubu. I'm pretty sure this is about the last thing I had in mind when Lily said she decided where we have our date. No man nor woman is dressed in anything but their finest, their formality only matched by what? By that of their surroundings. Rich red wallpaper adorns the walls as the city lights far below flicker and glow. Combined with the ambient hum of quiet speech and the high-pitched chattering of cutlery and wine glasses, the mood is very formal, yet relaxed enough for me not to feel too uptight despite this being our first real date. Once we get seated, our waiter leaves to attend to others with a quick bow, after an appreciative nod from Lily. Far from depending on my help, Lily manages to navigate herself around surprisingly easily so far, despite the unfamiliar environment. A light brush here and there, and she's generally quite deft at orientating herself as needed. And she's in a sexy red dress. Alright. Hasao is moving up in the world, that's for sure. My eyes look to Lily's. I can tell from her face that she's listening to her surroundings just as hard as I'm looking. Though, truth be told, my eyes are lingering on her each time they sweep across the room. The red... oh, God. Xiongzam she's wearing? You know, I'm assuming that's a Japanese-style dress that I can't pronounce. She's wearing... accentuates her figure very well and shows off her legs. Even her hair is done up, and the scent of perfume is just noticeable. While my black suit may be a rental, I managed to select an appropriate one. It feels surprisingly comfortable, considering I've so rarely worn one, and it fits in the setting just as well as Lily's attire. Oh man, he's in a suit! There's, something about wearing suits. I don't know if I can speak for the other guys out there, but it just commands this feeling of pride to me. And I don't wear suits very often, obviously. I did while I worked. I worked at a tutoring place for a little while. But it wasn't really, I didn't wear the suit jacket very often. I don't know, there's just this sense, I guess actually probably the best way to describe it is just feel like an adult in a way. And you always, I'm not saying that I'm not an adult, but it's just that. It's just, it speaks maturity, and you feel it. You feel that confidence while you're wearing it. And you just look good. Now, my body type kind of sucks because I have to wear long jackets because I have very, very long legs. Compared to my torso, so I can sometimes look a little frumpy in a suit. So getting a nice, well-tailored one was the only way. I can't wear rental suits. Like, I have to have my own tailored suit, or I just look like a sad little mopey man in a suit. But anyway, I guess this is a new experience for both of us then. She turns somewhat sheepish. I've never come to a place such as this before, no. One hell of a first date, that's for sure. It's going to be pretty hard for me to top this. A small giggle. Even now, our nervousness is dissipating. Her hand skating along the center of the table until it touches the menu, which she takes in both hands and brings to her face. Sal? She lowers the beige laminated sheet just below her eyes. I can see another sheepish look. She can't read it. Oh, Hasao, be a gentleman. I doubt asking the waiter for a menu in Braille would be productive. I can read it out for you, no problem. I take mine and give it a quick read. My small grin faltering. Perhaps there is. What's wrong? There are quite a few items on here, and I'm not completely sure how to pronounce a couple of them. One fine cuisine after another is listed. Most may be in Japanese, but a few are in English and French. I guess it is to be expected, but I have no idea what's in some of these. Oh, this one I recognize. Wait, hang on. You can cook that? A small giggle of amusement comes from behind the paper sheet. Well, I could read them all out, but it'd take a few hours. Is there anything with some kind of fish in it? Let's see. No. Aren't those poisonous? No. They eat that stuff? No. Ah, here we go. A tuna salad seems to be a good bet. From the picture, it looks like it'd be pretty filling as well. That seems to be a reasonable safe option. Let's order 2 then. I'm pretty sure a couple of these dishes are from poisonous animals. I've had enough deadly run-ins for now. Lainey maintains a smile, but there's a distinct lack of laughter. Black humor mustn't be her cup of tea, though to be honest, I don't find it exceedingly funny either. There are certainly quite a few interesting smells wafting about. The same is true of the sights, I assume. Gosh. Yeah, I imagine. I guess, like, in fancy places like this, a lot of cologne, a lot of perfume, whiskey. Whiskey is something that I've always picked up on when I go to certain restaurants or I've waited at certain restaurants. Some of the fancier places smell distinctly of cigars and whiskey. It's what I call the devil's sadness. It's what I've always had that sense for that smell. You guys can use that if you want. The smell of whiskey and cigar smoke has always been the devil's sadness to me. Met a lot of people that did that type of stuff, and their lives weren't all the best. I've never been anywhere quite like this. A fancy Japanese tea house on an occasion or two, but never anything this lavish nor European in styling. Before another word can be said, a portly waiter in a distressingly tight vest appears at our table to take our orders. Provencal tuna salad Nikose, please. Oh god, Nikose? I guess. Oh god, it's been a long time. Salad, yeah. Is that French? I don't think that's French. It could be French. It's got the little C with the little hook on it. I hope I didn't mess up the pronunciation on that too badly. Even if I did, it doesn't show it. And may I have a glass of Chardonnay, please? How? Oh, the same. As the waiter nods and leaves, I suddenly realize that what I said by absent-mindedly mimicking Lily's answer, I regret it pretty quickly. Alcohol? Only a bit. Jesus, Lily's a goddamn drinker. And he didn't check IDs. See, this is another thing. A suit and a nice dress can get you a long way at a restaurant. This girl has an odd propensity for getting hooked on things, I swear. Surprisingly that they didn't ask for identification. Then again, I guess we both do look mature for our age. I'll have to take your word for it. I'll add that this isn't what I'd call the type of place to ask such things, though. Good point. We both relax a little into our seats, trying to take our minds off the choking formality of the surroundings. As soon as we do, the same waiter reappears at our table with 2 empty glasses and a bottle, the contents of which are quickly and professionally poured into the former. Oh my, she even did her nails. Oh dear. We both nod politely as he leaves. Lily takes her glass and gently moves it from side to side. The liquid inside glistens as we move, around in the glass, and I have to admit it makes me a little less regretful for ordering the same. I guess it must take effort to judge how the liquid inside is acting based on the center of balance. Maybe it's like her origami, taking every little chance to practice her dexterity. I guess I'm not surprised that you know about a place like this. Those who have money would, I suppose. This reminds me of just how completely different our upbringings were. In Yamaku, it's easy to forget about social and economic disparity between students all wearing the same uniforms, living in the same dormitories. Well, Akira was the one to tell me of it. She's come here before, apparently. So that's what they were conspiring about on Friday. And you chastised me for cheating. That's not cheating, it's simply making use of personal contacts. If you say so. Still, I get the feeling that you're more familiar with this kind of restaurant than I am. She pauses a moment, a wistful look on her face, before softly smiling. The compliment seems to brighten her mood. You can thank my former school for that. If I were to appear any less, they'd be gravely disappointed. She has mentioned her previous schooling before, but now I'm kind of curious. She seems to think a lot about her past, so I don't see any problem in asking. What was that like? It was, prestigious. I can never say this word properly. Prestigious. All girls and Catholic. These facts made my parents choose it for me. Many wealthy families send their daughters there. From how it sounds, life there must have been pretty strict. I wouldn't say it was a bad experience, but you're quite right, it was very strict. Thankfully, I managed to adapt well enough and make a number of friends. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for my sister. She found the atmosphere and the religious aspects suffocating, and ended up leaving for a job as soon as she was able to. She gives a small, self-deprecating chuckle. I shouldn't complain about it, though. Not many even have the chance to go to such a school. I guess we'll continue this date next time. So take care, guys, and stay frosty.